Here we go, Facebook Live. Hello and welcome back to the Y Experience with JJ Cannon. I hope that everyone had a great weekend. It was amazing for Hope and I, my beautiful wife, who's sitting right over here off to the side. She's always by my side. Hello, honey. We were able to get away to Austin and stay at the Lone Star Court in the Domain. I don't know if y'all get away to Austin much or not, but y'all need to take a look at the Lone Star Court. Just an amazing place. And also, while you're there, take a look at the water trough. I want to give a special shout out to Winnie. She's always there. She's just so grateful and so warm and welcoming. And they create an amazing experience. Today, though, we are back to the grind. My team at Digital Delight, they're out creating experiences for homeowners while I get out and explore new opportunities with branding and marketing. How can I create experiences and share with people what we really do? Branding and marketing is something that every company must have as part of today's business model. And it's as important as good counsel and excellent accounting. I truly believe that. Our guest today has had the ear of Houston for over 23 years, and actually I might be short on some. He'll tell us. He's got a golden voice and a gift for communicating the experience. He's full of interesting stories and an encyclopedia of knowledge. So for our new listeners and viewers, I'm JJ Cannon, 21-year husband to my beautiful wife Hope and a father of two beautiful girls. I'm CEO of Digital Delight, a smart home design and installation business. And I also have a master's degree in getting knocked down and getting back up. So please, if you would, be so kind to like and share and follow us. You can also watch broadcasts of this on YouTube. And if you're a podcast person, you can find us on Anchor, iTunes, Spotify, and like 8 other different podcast channels. So today in studio, we got Sam Malone. How you doing, brother?
Fantastic. It's great to be here.
Nice to see you.
That's 'cause, I'm always interviewing. I don't get a chance to interview. So it's to be interviewed. So it's cool, man.
Well, you look a little nervous today.
I'm sweating bullets. I just don't know what's going to happen.
You don't know what's going to happen. Neither do I. So
is it hot in here? Is it me? Oh, look, there's a dorky white guy on your Facebook page. Look at that. There's a collapse. Is Mark Zuckerberg on the phone yet? Has he banned this broadcast? Wow, look at that.
Oh, my gosh. So, like I said, he's had the voice of Houston for many years. And, Sam, you are one of Houston's premier voices on the radio. I grew up listening to you when I was just a kid, and you played all my favorite tunes, and mainly they were 80s tunes. But I loved it all.
Well, thank you. It's very nice. I get that a lot, and I never like blow it off. Thank you, because I got here in 1993. In fact, it's 26 years this month.
26 years.
Came to Houston when the trail riders were coming into Memorial Park. And when people say, I grew up listening to you, or I went to work every day with you, or I got through a marriage, I got through a divorce, I got through whatever it was, I'm always appreciative because, it just reminds me I made the right decision to come to Houston.
So growing up as a kiddo, did you know that, hey, man, I am going to be a radio DJ. I'm going to be the one telling everybody what the cool stuff is and what the inside track is to what's happening? No?
Absolutely not.
All right.
Absolutely not.
Take us back.
In a nutshell, I grew up in the inner city of Philadelphia, where the Uber drivers won't take you anymore. They won't take you through my neighborhood.
They're like,
no, they won't. They really won't. My wife was there, and she's like, let's go visit Sammy's neighborhood. And the Uber's like, I don't go there. But anyway, so radio was never a part of it. I was just thrilled to get out of high school, which was quite a challenge, and barely clawed my way into college as a probationary student. So real quick, in my third year, I started getting involved in the math of finance, my BBA's in finance. And I was trying to desperately date this blonde. Okay. We're still friends today. She was in the nursing school. And she was very cool to hang out with me. She liked hanging out with me. She was funny, but I was very poor. I just didn't have the resources to go out on dates, to pay for nice dates, and that's all she wanted. But she hung out. Well, she ended up dating the top DJ in Philadelphia, the night jock on the big, the KRBE of Philadelphia. And she had told me, like, she wouldn't date me, but she would go out if there were other people. And we went to see him at a nightclub doing an appearance. You know, a jock.
Yeah.
Join me tonight, 10 o'clock. It's ladies' night, whatever. And I met that DJ 2 o'clock, 1:30 in the morning at a nightclub in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. And at the time I was doing casino analysis. And I said, you know, with casino analysis, there's barriers to entry. Like, you can't open up an NFL team. You can't open up, you know, it's hard to open up casinos and stuff. And I asked this guy, this DJ, who was in the parking lot with like 6 girls lined up to meet him. I'm a dork. I'm not a good-looking guy at all. And I'm like, I went to say hello to him. I said, sir, how do you get into radio? I don't know. How do you become a DJ? I know how you become a dentist. I know how you become a doctor. There's certain tracks of education. And he told me, and he was like, he'd obviously been enjoying the evening. And I ran to my car and my 1970 Plymouth Duster, orange, for $450 I bought it. I opened up the glove box and wrote what he said on, your insurance card.
Yeah. You're like, give me a piece of paper.
Yeah, and I wrote it down. And 6 weeks later, I was on the radio in America's 5th largest market.
Yeah, but so what got you out of, casinos and into DJing? You just saw a line of ladies and you're like, that's where I need to be.
Look, I'm honest. I tried to date the hot nurse. She wouldn't, quote, date me.
Right.
She thought it was funny. She'd hang out with me. She'd go out for pizza, but she wouldn't date. Then I see this Raul sitting there leaning on his Mercedes, 500 SL convertible, in the parking lot of a nightclub with 6 girls lined up to meet him. And I'm approaching from the starboard side with his current girlfriend. I'm a guy. I'm like, this is awesome. How do you look at all the girls he's meeting? Me, I've got to put Tiffany boxes around my neck to get women to talk to me, And he was just, I'm like, wow, I'm going to try this. I got my degree. Yeah. And I said, I'm going to try this. And I tried radio, $6 an hour, my first job in America's 5th radio market.
So what was it like? Were you spinning records or were you pulling records?
I wrote jokes for the morning show. So the morning guy came in from New York. They paid him $200,000 and his ratings were sucking. Oh. This is 1986, January. And they weren't doing well. So part of it was recon, find a market opening, find a weak radio station, high salary, low ratings, kind of like in business on an M&A market acquisition deal. And I approached the guy, said, I can be funny. And he said, whatever, I'll pay you $6 an hour. Got in, worked on his show, and slowly expanded shelf space or my role or my equity, market equity. And they ended up getting rid of him, and they kept me. Because they got me for like $30,000 or whatever it was.
Half the price, twice the talent.
And then I grinded. I'm not taking off. I'm not enjoying a single holiday for 2 or 3 years. I'm going to work nonstop.
Me and my buddies, we have this new horizon called the internet and social media, and the ability to really dial in and communicate with exactly who your audience is for the message. And, our biggest thing that we're encouraging each other is just the hustle. And finding something you love, which we all love technology. We thoroughly enjoy creating an experience for our homeowners. But finding something that we love and just keep at it, keep pushing at it. And the marketing is one thing that's kind of fresh to us because a lot of the times it was traditionally just referrals. But we see this opportunity to direct dial exactly who you want to talk to and creating quality content and just keeping at it and keeping at it. We're finding some success. And it sounds like that's exactly what you're doing and have done for many years.
Well, A, you got to love what you do. 2, you have to understand the difference between market equity and industry equity. So if you're going to be the top guy in your market, so to speak, or you're the top guy in the industry. And 3, the most important thing, whether it's in your business, which is kind of high tech and home theaters and lighting and things like that, is people don't care what you say until they care about you.
Right.
And I learned that real early. And then all of a sudden I'm like, that's important stuff. And I took it to task to make sure that remembering people don't care what you say until they care about you. And that could be in sales and copy machines. That could be as a gun range owner. That could be as a bartender. They just don't care what you say until they care about you. And that's how I've incorporated that into the radio side, and I brought that into the business world.
Right.
And that's how guys like you, you have an amazing company anyway, right? it's that you got to be able to find that key to the lock of compassion and concern from the client point of view.
Right. And so
that was pretty deep. That was way
no,
deeper.
No.
I got some Van Halen stories.
That's
if you want
exactly what we were wanting to talk about. But so you took that experience there in Philadelphia. How did you get to Houston?
So I made it in Philly real quick. What headhunters start?
Headhunters,
program directors, headhunters, general managers, market managers, and I went down to Florida, Tampa Bay area, and then all of a sudden was able to strike gold. I shouldn't say. I was able to build ratings. A lot of work, but then headhunters and more VPs of programming. So you start getting offered cities when you start to build up some momentum. And I was offered like Buffalo, New York, for instance. So I went to Buffalo for 3 years. When I got to be number one in Buffalo, I was offered Chicago, Houston, Dallas, San Diego, Atlanta, and then I would travel and pick cities. And then I came here, and then I was offered others, L.A., Philly, but I just said, I'm done. I love Houston. My wife and I love Houston.
Were you married when you moved here?
I got married on the way to Buffalo, New York. I got married 10 days after I got there. We had planned the wedding, but the opening came up, and they're like, you got to start 1 November. And I'm like, well, I'm getting married 10 November. And they're like, well, why don't you just come here and spend a week on the radio and then take off for your honeymoon? I'm like, all right.
Hey, sold.
It was tough on Princess. So it was very tough on her to we planned the wedding from the Tampa Bay area, moved to Buffalo, had the wedding in Philadelphia where our families are, honeymoon, went back to Buffalo. So a lot of props to the bride for putting up with the kind of the uncertainty, the agita, parla italiano, the ups, the anxiety.
Right. Oh, boy. We've talked about anxiety on the show, that's for sure. Hey, friends, would y'all please drop a comment down in the bottom there for us and for Sam. We greatly appreciate y'all joining us. And we love the love and the like, so keep them going.
And I love the buffet that you provided.
Isn't this awesome?
Let me tell you something. When I saw the chocolate fountain for dessert, I knew.
Fondue,
whatever you're up to. We don't judge.
So you have a really interesting story about how you met the love of your life.
Princess didn't expect call sign Princess. She brought John Bon Jovi and Richie Sambora to town for an event for a charity, right?
John Bon Jovi. For those that don't know.
And I was on the radio, so they called and they said, hey, can the radio station send a DJ to host this fundraising event? So it didn't pay, right? So none of the older, I'm 22 I'm the kid, right? I'm nothing.
I'll go.
So all these guys are like, well, what's it pay? And they would say, it's a charity. Well, then I'm not going. They said, hey, what about you? I'm like, I'm going. So I went to this event, and there's John and there's Richie. And right behind them was this smoking hot blonde in a very silvery, kind of glittery blouse. And I'm looking at her. I'm like, we're going to have to hook up and talk later.
Excuse me, guys.
And I ended up talking with John, hanging out. And she came up to me. And she has her little clipboard. She's running this event. She's like, and you are? I'm like, okay, we'll play that. And Sam and this and the other. And I get up on the mic and I meet John. There's pictures. It's all good. So later I said, hey, it was great. Why don't we get together sometime? She's like, yeah, okay, sure. Total blow off. So I call her office like a week later. Hey, man, it was great. We should get together sometime. Okay, whatever. And I'm like, what up? And I invite her to, now this is the power move.
I'm a DJ.
I'm this, right? Don't you know I am? This is the power move. I'm like, would you like to come up to the radio station? We'll go have breakfast afterwards. So she comes up and she sees the station. It's a pretty cool station. And there's a Denny's next to the station. We go to Denny's. And I said, we should get together. She's like I don't date people like you, like radio DJs, because I know what you're after. I'm like, dang. Once again, going back to you got to put like Tiffany boxes around your neck to get girls to talk to you. So I chased her for like a couple of months. And then we finally had a date, a real date. And she shook my hand after the date. Yeah, she did. So I pull up. I'm going to drop her off at her place. She's like at this apartment like 3 stories up, whatever. I pull up. I'm like, hey, I had a great time. I'm going to throw. She got out and she just held out her hand and she said, thank you. I had a wonderful time. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I kept calling and kept chasing her. And we finally started quote, dating.
Right.
But I was running around on her a lot because now girls are starting to call. Girls do call ugly guys in radio. I'm a poster child of this. Now girls are calling and I'm like, oh, geez. So I would chase the girl. She would find out and dump me. So she dumped me 3 times. So on May 4th of 1988, I told her I loved her. I'm never running around on girls again.
Yeah, that
and
was
then
it.
we dated, got engaged December 15th of 1989, and got married 10 November 1990.
That's awesome. Honey, that sounds so familiar to us because I was a DJ over at the Buzz. Actually, I was an intern at the Buzz, and I was like, hey, would you like to come up and see the booth? And
That was the thing. Like, listen, I'm on the radio for 6 months. No, I still couldn't get a date. All of a sudden, David Bowie comes to town. It's a true story. We still have the tape. Bowie comes to town, and one of the TV stations calls the radio station. They said, Bowie's coming to town. We'll send a cameraman called a shooter. Can you send someone down to interview Bowie? Well, the older DJs, once again, what's it pay, man? Nothing. It's, channel like 26 needs someone with some cred, a DJ. So I'm like, let's go. My buddy and I jump over there. It was at Veterans Stadium. There's Bowie. They give us a camera, mic. We interview him real quickly. They turn it into a 30-minute special. A little 30-minute, what's new with David Bowie came to town, Sam talks to him.
Right.
The phone, that was like a Thursday night. Monday morning, there's messages from girls that I tried to date and hit on. Hey, Sam, I didn't know you were with David Bowie. I'm like, and one of us is really, it was, and I'm like, wow, like girls now are calling? I mean, I'm still the same ugly, fat doofus with the 80s porn stash that I was 6 months ago. So it can get to your head, and you got to
right, throttle it down.
You got to deal with it. Yeah. So
right.
When I met Denise, I was still in that stupid head mode.
Yeah. So where did you get that foundation? That understanding of all right, this is the path. I mean, is this where you upbringing or self-motivated?
My parents were very much in love. My dad, a blessed memory, would call my mom his girlfriend. He would hey, who's that? Check out my girlfriend. He'd just pinch her on the butt. My wife also comes from, until her dad passed, they were a loving couple. I don't know where it really came from, this strong, because my parents didn't talk about fidelity in marriage.
Right.
They just kind of led the example. But my dad never said real men never run around their wives or stuff like that.
Right.
It just developed, and then through stories on the radio, for being criticized for talking about fidelity in marriage, it made me stronger.
Yeah, you got a little bit of heat whenever you started talking about what your true feelings were and the direction that you wanted to, live and express, the happiness that you saw that you were having.
Listen, I think it's great to hang out. Look, I hung out with Aerosmith, brought him on the mic 3 times, Bon Jovi 3 times, Def Leppard, Duran Duran. You go to the most amazing parties. You're traveling with the cool celebrities. But at the end of the day, you come home and there's your marriage.
Right.
And I just felt that our industry would poo-poo marriage. If you turn on network TV, every marriage is messed up on ABC, NBC, CBS. The man is stupid. The woman is conniving. The kid's back talk.
Smarter than the
smart
parents.
alecky.
Right.
So I said, or just felt, a calling to reaffirm the glory, sanctity, holiness, and steaminess of marriage.
Yeah.
With all you can still hang out with Aerosmith. I'm playing piano with Barry Manilow. Bette Midler came in for my anniversary party. Cher flew in. You can still do all that, but you don't ever forget God's most basic handbook of things you shouldn't screw up, and that's marriage.
Right.
A man plus woman coming together and forming this wonderful family and such. So throughout the years, I've gotten a lot of heat from people at the radio stations I worked at.
Right.
Who were against me talking about that on the radio.
Right. Right. Now, but so you just turned it up. You said,
I'm
hey,
from Philly. You know what?
You know what?
The worst thing you can tell a guy from Philly is,
no.
Don't do that. Don't do that. I'm going to do that. And the guy, you don't do that. I'm going to do that. And that's you know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
Hey, get off my cutlass. You know what I'm saying? That's my cutlass. Get off my cutlass. Don't make me come over there.
You leaning up against my truck.
Yo, I just
Actually,
waxed
don't
that.
talk about that. Do y'all have trucks up there?
Negative, Whiskey
Negative.
Bravo. Nobody has a pickup truck because you can't park it anywhere in the inner city. You can't park a pickup truck.
Okay.
It's too high to fit in the garage. It won't fit in the street. So anyway.
So people said no, and you said yes. And right now, y'all have an amazing segment that you do on your show. You still are on the radio. You have a fantastic program. It's 1070 AM, which I listen to here in Houston. Y'all can also see it on Facebook Live.
Yeah, yes, Facebook or there's whatever the apps are.
Well, you got
radio
Facebook, and you probably are on YouTube as well.
iHeart, yeah.
But you got this cool segment on Fridays that I love tuning into for sure, and it's your marriage talk segment. Tell me about that.
Well, we started it a long time ago. It's literally to once again.
Was it an accident? Just you felt led to do it and accidentally
Yeah,
fell into it? Or?
Some greater power pushed me or helped lead me to a point where take one segment of the week. You know, you got a 3-hour show. Take one segment of 1 3-hour show of 15 hours a week and just throttle down and focus on marriage. Give a tip. So a long time ago, I'll tell you real quick, in 1993, I think it was, I was on the radio on KRBE, and I was telling a story that my wife and I were going to some black tie event, and I need like 4 minutes to blank, shower, and shave and get into a tux, right? Woman needs like an hour and a half, 2 hours, 2 days, whatever it is. So I usually get my gear on, get the tux on, I'll sit and watch TV. Oh, wait. Can't hurry your wife. You sit there and say, come on! They don't get dressed any faster. So I'm waiting for her to come out, and she comes out of the bedroom. I'm telling the story on the air, KRB. And I said, man, she looked smoking hot. She just had the tight-fitting, low-cut, hoorah-looking outfit. And I said, I dig her. I'm so in love with her, right? It's a true story. So this knucklehead management, the minute the show's over, says to me, quote, we would appreciate it if you did not talk about you love your wife or stuff like that. I'm like, why? Did I do something wrong? I swear, I'm not lying. God, strike me with lightning if I'm lying right now. He says, we want you to sound eligible because we have so many women listening.
Negative.
I'm like, schmuck, really? Look at me. Let's go back to the Tiffany boxes around my neck to get girls talk. No woman ever looked at me and goes, dude, got to screw with that guy. It just doesn't happen. So it's a bad marketing plan. Right? So I said, no, I'm married. I literally said, I will have many jobs, but I'll have one wife.
Right.
So it got a little heated.
Wisdom,
right?
people.
So next thing you know, this is true, I was just tired of his like mouth.
Right.
And I literally grabbed him, because first we were sitting down, hockey style, because I played hockey, grabbed him by the shirt and pulled him right out of the chair. And he went over, and I just was going to, and the general manager screamed, because there was yelling going on. And she screamed, she's, Sammy, get out of here, whatever. I'm like, oh, I lost my job. When I explained what happened, she fired him.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay. And then when I got to other stations and would just every now and then talk about marriage, some knucklehead would say, don't do that. Stop. And I'm like, what? And then I was critical of some guy was running around his wife, and I called him like a loser on the radio. I'm like, only a weak loser runs around his wife. You should be willing to put your life on the line for your wife.
Right.
You don't chase skirt after you put the ring on. And this general manager calls me and he says, you shouldn't call men who run around their wives losers. I'm like, well, what do you call them? Winners? They're losers. And then he's like, you better not do that. And I'm like, I'm saying the right thing and I'm getting resistance. It doesn't make sense.
Right.
Finally, I got to Salem, which is the owner of AM 1070. They're such wonderful people. They're like, please speak about marriage.
Right.
Please share the word.
We embrace this.
We embrace it. But it's amazing. At almost every station, JJ, there was somebody in management who said, don't talk about fidelity. Don't talk about the sanctity of marriage. You know, we're wild and crazy. I'm like, I'm not wild and crazy. I go home. Got a smoking hot wife. I love going home with her. I love hanging out with her.
Yeah. Family.
Family is so much more important. It's the most important thing.
Right.
You know what God, you know what they say, when God brings together, let no schmuck pull apart without getting a crowbar upside of the head? Well, that's the Philly version of the vow. I remember that. Yo, what God brings together, let nobody pull apart unless they got a crowbar upside the head. All right? All right. Fat Tony, you go with that? Yeah. Skinny Lou? All right. Everybody out of here. And that's how it went. And I'm like, I'm getting yelled at for saying the right thing.
Right.
So.
Right.
Thank goodness AM 1070, The Answer, and the whole Salem family on all 115 stations across America are supportive of what I do.
That's amazing. That is so wonderful. And so you've taken something that you really loved, radio, playing music that really touches everybody, and spinning it into something that's you're communicating values and purpose and reason, and it's like taking something like it's like watching maturity evolve, per se, in a very public space, because of what I was in it for the ladies as well, but once you get it figured out and dialed in, you want to kind of express the joy that you have in a relationship, for one, but you also want to couple it with something that you enjoy doing. Amen. For the rest of your life.
But you got to be, you got to be prepared to be like criticized, shot down. I was threatened with termination. And I also, but you can do that when you have the ratings. When the ratings are behind you, you become more of a force, where you can say, look, I feel it's essential to talk about this or say that. When my first Right to Life dinner was 2001. Been part of the Right to Life movement, and I said on the radio, my sidekick Maria, real quick, said she was going to speak she was going to some Planned Parenthood party, and then a week or two later, I said, oh, by the way, because you talk about where you're going, I'll be speaking tonight at the Texas Right to Life celebration of life. There's like 1,000 people at the Hyatt. Program director calls me and she says, look, we'd appreciate if you didn't say that. Didn't say what? That you're speaking at the Right to Life dinner. I'm like, why not? She says, well, that's controversial. I'm like, my Maria Todd, my wonderful sidekick, it went to Planned Parenthood. You didn't say anything about that. Well, that's different. So I said, put it in writing. I'll read your memo on the air. She's like, I'm not going to put it in writing. I'm like, well, there you have it. I'm still going to talk about it.
Right.
So when you stand up for things like marriage or the unborn or something, for some reason.
There's
Or you talk about putting faith or being, making sure, you'll hear me say Proverbs 3:5, have faith in the Lord,
Right.
Talk about my wife being Proverbs 31:12, she'll bring no harm to her husband.
Right.
Or her life. Those are great things to live by.
And what's so great about a supportive staff is sometimes whenever we have challenges and struggles, having that my wife stand behind me and give me that support, as
or to hand you fresh ammo, as we say. Quick, I need another magazine, because you're in a fight,
right?
And you need to know that your wife or your husband is behind you,
right?
Supporting your beliefs, your values, your vision,
right?
Your future together.
Right. And you went off, just real quick before we close out here, you went off and expanded, the Sam Malone brand, and you've started working with 512 Media, which is a high-end production video company that not only does social media marketing, but also does, high-end radio recording and video production. Is that correct?
Yeah. Real quick, 13 years ago, one of our biggest clients was an automotive dealership. They asked my advice for what would be a great viral video. They said, Sammy, you're clever. If you were to make a viral video, I just said, oh, you know what I would do? And the guy said, well, then do it. And I said, no, you just asked for an idea. This is 13 years ago. He said, Sammy, just do it and send me an invoice. So I went to Best Buy and bought a Sony Handycam. I bought editing software. And I'm like, well, if he's going to pay me. So 13 years ago, I saw a need, an opening in the marketplace for advertisers to come to a trusted source and ask their advice. My second client was Wolfgang Puck. I went from 0 to 100 miles an hour. And then I opened up my own company. I'm like, look, I'm going to help clients. I'm on the radio, but they need TV help. They need web help. They need social media help. They need billboards, direct mail. That's what we do, 512 New Media.
512 New Media. People,
Crazy.
Y'all take a look at what Sam's doing. Sam, thank you so much for coming in today.
JJ, this is amazing. Props to you, my buddy, man. Give me a fist bump. Props to you and the technology here, because this is the future of media.
Yeah.
You know that?
Yeah.
What you're doing this is the future. You do not need a transmitter or a station van or something like that. You're able to create this video content. You don't need a television station.
No.
Way to go, bro.
Thank you. And I want to say thank you for everybody that has tuned in to us here on Facebook Live and over here on Instagram. Thank you all for tuning in. And thanks for joining us today. I want to encourage everyone to seek out their why. In every experience they create, ask yourself, why am I doing what I do? And what is the effect it is having on me and potentially others? In addition to that, ask, is it a positive return or is it not? I hope in everything we do, it is for the better. Friends, please don't forget to share today's episode, like and follow. And until next week, y'all have a great week.
See ya.
See ya.
See ya.
If you're looking to make your basic home smart, check out digitaldelight.com/shop, where they have a variety of different smart home technology solutions that help make smart home shopping easy for you. Check out digitaldelight.com/shop. Support the Y Experience with JJ Cannon by becoming a Patreon Every month, the Y Experience will receive a regular source of income from supporters like you who've pledged through Patreon. Having your ongoing support for as little as $1 a month means we spend less time thinking about business and more time creating quality content for you.